Because the times
Woke up this morning thinking about
Those summer days.
best friend got caught up when I stayed in Douglasville. Doing some stuff by myself. I'm a What's good, y'all? I'm back with another video. Shout out to my man right here, man. He's a real good dude, bro. Like, it's a handful of these YouTubers, and they got like all these followings, and they be telling me like, "Yo, keep doing what you doing. I'm proud of you. I'm glad you reacting to my videos. I'm glad that you showing me love, because now I'm gonna show you love by texting you. Because every time they text me, you know what I do? I do this. Or I do this, and it makes me happy. So with that being said, let's get on to it. The mini beefs of MF Doom.
Isn't anything new or unusual. From Pac and Biggie to Kanye and Drake, disputes within the rap world are a very common occurrence. Even MF Doom, a rapper who we all know tends to stray from the limelight, has had a handful of controversies involving other MCs. Beefs ranging from fun and easygoing to diss tracks and even physical conflict. But before we begin, according to my analytics, the vast majority of you guys are not subscribed. And if you'd like to see more videos where I discuss Doom and other miscellaneous topics I'm passionate about, go ahead and subscribe and leave a like for the almighty YouTube algorithm. And with that out of the way, I say we start off with a more lighthearted drama, involving the one and only Frederick Gibbs.
Nut milk. I'll pass on that goddamn nut milk.
In my opinion, it's a bit of a stretch to call this a beef, but I'll explain from the beginning and you could be the judge. This situation began to unfold on July 10th of 2019, when Freddie Gibbs, alongside Madlib, would make an appearance on Peter Rosenberg's radio show to promote the release of Bandana, a collaborative album between Gibbs and Lib. This was actually Madlib's first radio show appearance, and towards the end of the show, Rosenberg brings up his previous Stone Throw collaboration with Jay Dilla, before steering the conversation to the classic rap album Mad Villainy.
By the way, I as much as we talk about the J-Lib album, we should also talk about the Mad Villain album, which was, have you spent time with that, Gibbs?
Yeah, definitely. I tried to top that. When, like, I used to hate when people would be like, "Oh man, yeah, this Mad Villain." I'm like, okay, man. Every day, I'm a competitive guy, and I know Doom can't rap as good as me at all. Like, so it ain't like. He can't rap like this, fam. Like, so he made a great project.
That's MF Doom, bro.
I don't care.
He's
like,
an icon.
I'm Kane.
He is.
Fam. So
Don't compare
yeah,
Gibbs.
you can't really compare me to nobody. So it's like I was like, damn, man, like I can rap better than this dude, but can I make a better album than him? You know what I'm saying? So that was my focus.
Was there ever consideration, or would there be, of having Doom featured on a joint?
We did a song together. He can't see me, but it's all good. You know what I'm saying? But we could do some. We could do some more stuff though. I could bring him out of retirement. You know?
You could argue all day as to who the better rapper is, but personally, I just saw this as more of a tongue-in-cheek competitive joke among acquaintances, although that clearly didn't stop fans on both sides from taking the bait. Fast forward to July 26, Gibbs would poke fun at Doom again, this time by posting a photo of his son with a photoshopped MF Doom mask onto his Instagram. As some of you already know, Gibbs has had his Instagram suspended for quite a while now, so the original post is no longer available, only existing through archives and screenshots.
Oh shit! That'll get me flagged on the ground.
And that's pretty much the extent of this quote-unquote beef.
Yeah.
Although it is worth mentioning that 2 days after Gibbs' Instagram post, MF Doom would post onto his Twitter for the first time in nearly a decade. This, however, just turned out to be a promotion for the Gastrolls website where you could purchase new Doom merch. This was most likely Doom's management taking advantage of the buzz that Freddie Gibbs had created. Speaking of Gibbs, he promoted Doom's new merch in his own joking way, proving that the two were probably always on good terms.
It's MF Doom, bro. You can't beef with him, bro. Like,
I'm an actor in an ad that was given 12 seconds.
So this is where things get a little messy. And that's because this event took place all the way back in the early
yo, everyone, what's good? Basically, I don't know what happened. My mic messed up, my Blue Yeti, something weird happened. It's like, I think I unplugged something. Like, You see this? The mic, the mic. I got him plugged it. Let's get back to it.
2000s, long before the advent of having every little event documented by the internet. So all the details surrounding this case are from a secondhand source. With that being said, this situation is recounted to us by filmmaker Adam Lowe. He was the cameraman behind the legendary Dead Bent and Questions music videos, so in my opinion, he's a trustworthy source. Lowe says that a few months after shooting for both videos, Doom would invite him to one of his live performances, which took place at the Sound of Brazil in Lower Manhattan. Doom asked Lowe to meet him up after the show. This, however, would never happen, as halfway through the show, Doom was joined on stage by Megalon. They performed together for a little bit till the duo began arguing about something. It got to the point where the two dropped their microphones and began yelling at one another, getting in each other's faces before the two began to swing on each other. As this was happening, Megalon then suddenly ran off stage and out through the front door, with Doom chasing after him. Everyone in the venue followed them outside, expecting to see a fight, but only saw Doom running down the street chasing after Megalon, with neither of them being seen again that night. As far as I can tell, that's the extent of this particular situation, and it could be—
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I feel they did that as a stunt. I'm fucking with you. I don't know. I was a kid back then. I honestly don't know.
assumed that Doom and Megalon made up after this, considering that the two would work again on multiple occasions. Well, that was until— This video is brought to you by my new merch line. We have prints ranging from Doom inspired to embroidered NYC inspired, if that even makes any sense. Either way, they're available now, link in the pinned comment.
Okay, I'll mess with that.
I've only ever spoken about Grim in passing back in my MF Doom iceberg, so for those of you who have been asking me to speak about Grim at length, this is for you. Now, this beef is a little more convoluted. As where the incident when Megalon was confined to a single night, the drama between Grim and Doom has multiple entries spanning across multiple years, and my timeline of these events, for all I know, may not be entirely accurate. Like I said, this occurred long before the internet was documenting every little event, but regardless, I'll try my best to piece it all together properly. Doom and Grim met at some point in the 90s, back when Doom was still known as Zevlov X. The duo would work together on multiple projects before their falling out. In 1999, Grim would make appearances on Operation Doomsday. The following year, in 2000, Grim and Doom would team up to put out the MF EP. Unfortunately, however, shortly after the release of this project, Grim would be convicted for drug-related offenses and allegations of conspiracy. Now, how long do you think Grim was sentenced for? Pause the video and just take a guess in the comments.
5 years.
Maybe 20 years? 30 years even? No. Grim was sentenced to life in prison. Miraculously though, Grim paid $100,000 for a one-day bail, using the next 24 hours of freedom to record his verses for the album The Downfall of Iblis, considered by many as an underground classic. The album even features the previously beefing Doom and Megalon on the track Foolish. Released in January of 2002, The Downfall of Iblis was executively produced by our favorite metal-fingered villain, and co-produced by the great Count Basie. Fast forward a year later, Grim's Monster Island Czars would release the album Escape from Monster Island, while Grim was still behind bars. Later that year, while still in prison, Percy Carey, aka Grim, eventually appealed his sentence, filing countersuits which lowered his sentence from life to a remarkable 3 years. And while that's incredible news for Grim, this is also where the issues between him and Doom initiate. According to MF Grim, there was money owed to him after he was released from prison. The money Grim is referring to originates from him helping to finance the release of Operation Doomsday as well as KMD's second album, Black Bastards. In a 2006 interview conducted by Ben Westhoff with The Village Voice, Percy elaborates saying that Doom had told him that the initial negotiations had fallen through, and that he struck a new deal for the release of both projects, and that the royalty checks would only be a fraction of what the original agreement was. Obviously, Grim was upset by this, and it's hard not to sympathize with him in that regard. He financed a couple of albums and agreed to be paid a certain amount, only for the money to go up in smoke while he was incarcerated. With that being said though, according to Grim, Dumoulin promised he'd rectify the situation, but supposedly never did. I'm not entirely sure how accurate this next statement is, but in the same magazine interview, author Ben Westhoff writes that Doom responded to Grim's claims saying this:
"It's funny how motherfuckers want to complain about the villain jerked me, this and that. I'm like, yo, get a lawyer."
Again, I can't—
But it's big facts though. If someone did you wrong, get a lawyer. Get your shit handled by a professional.
verify the legitimacy of that claim. In fact, I contemplated even adding this in the video, so take that with a grain of salt. In a separate 2011 interview, Grimm explains that due to some sort of miscommunication, the money was simply mishandled.
There was some money that was owed, basically. You're hearing this from me. And I was incarcerated. I came out, wanted my money. Bottom line, it was like trying to get to him, but there was a little miscommunication in between. The money was basically that's owed was kind of like taken by someone else. Really didn't have too much to do with doing.
Only thing that come between us is Krillin money.
Rewinding back to mid-2004, the beef between the two seemed to have been squashed. Doom even invited Grimm to perform at the BB King's Blue Club in Times Square during the villain's food tour.
Newsflash! The March of Doom! Tonight, hour after hour by shortwave wireless, the news piles up from the capitals of the U.S. World-shaking, momentous news that sends our nation's leaders scurrying back to Washington. The grim, portentous news is that the arch-villain MF Doom has emerged from a self-imposed exile.
Huh? Oh, I think that's beautiful. Because, I mean, I'm quite sure there's a lot of MCs that might do something similar, but it's good the fact that he's capable of bringing it to the forefront now that he's more visible. So it's a beautiful thing.
For the time being, the bond between the two seemed to be back to normal. Well, that was until over a year later on October 10th with the release of The Mouse and the Mask.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Matthew Lesko, and I have an amazing new system that's gonna change your life! It's Danger Doom! Thanks to Danger Doom, I got this sweet ride. Danger Doom taught me how to swim!
As some of you may already know, on the track El Trupa Libre, Doom says,
Once joined the rap click midgets into crunk.
a sly reference to the old Monster Islands art crew. And while personally, I see this more as a tongue-in-cheek joke on par with the likes of the whole Freddie Gibbs situation, you have to keep in mind that the hyper-masculine male ego is a small and fragile thing. So naturally, MF Grimm was pretty upset by this, taking these remarks to heart, which led to the closer track on American Hunger titled The Book of Daniel, an MF Doom diss track which many of you probably never heard of. And while I don't love the song, I do like all the creative references Grimm makes in accordance to Doom. You can check out the track here on YouTube. 4 months after the release of Grimm's American Hunger, the Monster Island Czars dropped a track titled All Hail, featuring Kong and Megalon, among others. Doom claims to have never heard the songs, and honestly, considering his popularity at the time, he probably had better things to do. Interestingly enough though, Doom would drop the MF from his name for the release of Born Like This. Whether that had anything to do with the drama between him and Grimm remains unknown. And that's pretty
This is a lot, the process. Okay.
much the extent of the beef between Doom and Grimm. I won't tell you whose side to pick or who was right and who was wrong. It's none of my business, and you guys already know how I feel about fans being too overbearing on celebrities' personal lives.
True.
I will say though, it was kinda sad to see two good friends beefing over a bunch of minor bullshit. Bullshit which probably didn't even have any major consequences in the
Facts. We'll never beef over no fucking money. Never beef over no rap song, the fuck. And I bet they been made amends because MF Doom passed away.
grand scheme of either of their lives. Luckily for us, this story does have a happy ending.
Excuse me.
In the same 2011 interview I showed you earlier, Grimm states this.
With Doom, no, there's no problem, at least on my side with Doom. I have no problem with Doom. Doom is my brother. You know, we've been through a lot together. So, my beef with Doom is over with. He's my brother, I love him. You know, I'm not here to say we're gonna be working together. I don't know that, but I would definitely work with him.
To further drive that point home, Doom himself shares a similar sentiment in his Red Bull Academy interview when asked about the fallout by a fan.
You haven't spoken much about Grimm yet, so can you tell us how you guys met, the nature of your relationship, and maybe why things went sour?
Yeah, no doubt. I wouldn't say they went sour, but I would say, like, all right, we met the same time, around the same time when I met Bob. Like, it's the same crew, you know what I'm saying? All from uptown. I met Curious it's around the same time, too. And we all were, like, in the game somewhere. I met George up there. He was working up at Def Jam with Bob. And then Grimm was doing demos and he was, like, winning battles around the same time. You know, so but everybody's from uptown, so I used to just be uptown, you know, with these dudes yeah, I wouldn't say it went sour. It's just that relationships tend to split. Like I don't see the same people that that you used to see every day. You know what I mean? Still my people's got mad love for all my brothers. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's how I go. That's how it went.
I thought we'd wrap things up on a more lighthearted note with the beef between Doom and the infamous Victor Vaughn. Now, I feel a little silly talking.
Really? I know. Okay.
As
long
if
as
these
you
are
admit
two
this.
completely different people, so bear with me. The first instance we have of Doom crossing over with Vic is on March 23rd of 2004
Fancy
with
Clown.
the release of Mad Villainy on the track Fancy Clown. The song is told to us from the perspective of Victor Vaughn, chewing out his ex-girlfriend over a phone call after she cheated on him with Doom. The concept of the song is as funny as it is absurd. I mean, what other rapper in 2004 was making a song about having his own girlfriend stolen from him by himself as another character? Doom was just on another level of creativity. Fast forwarding a few months later to August 3rd, Doomily would release the album Venomous Villain by Victor Vaughn. Doom would make an appearance on this rather obscure album, actually complimenting Vic as an MC. I guess those threats on Fancy Clown never got back to him. The final mention we have of MF Doom and Victor Vaughn came in 2015 during the Red Bull
This Pokemon music is just so nostalgic, man.
interview, when Doomily elaborated on his concept for a type of versus album involving Doom and Vic.
You said that your characters have conflicts. Have you ever thought about making a record with the different characters battling it out?
Yeah, there was like matter of fact, it's a little rap beef starting right now with Vic and Doom. Vic is kind of plotting on him. I think he's getting a little jealous because Doom's getting shine. Like so Vic is gonna come. Well, he's talking about coming out with like a diss record. So it's gonna be a point where just to make a kind of like a mockery or kind of like a spoof from the the hip hop rivalries that go on. So Vic is gonna come. He's gonna come hard with some shit. You know what I mean?
Nice. Thanks.
Is Doom ready to respond?
I don't know. We gotta see. He's nice though. I mean, I wouldn't go up against him.
Beefs aside, if you want to hear me talk more about Doom, I have an exclusive video analyzing the possibility of MF having faked his death, only available to members of my channel. To become a member, hit the join button below and select the True Absurdist tier. This will give you access to exclusive content, early access to regular uploads, a unique role in my Discord server, and my personal favorite, these cool badges which appear next to your name when you leave a comment. This video has been on the back burner for over a year, so I'm glad I finally got around to it. It seems like every time I finish a video like this, 2 more ideas pop up in its place, which is great since I really love making these videos.
Well, bro, I just want to say this is very informative when it comes to learning more about the MF Doom beefs. Him and what you call it. I feel like Freddie Gibbs, he a troll. Like he funny. You know what I'm saying? He's like a different version of Tyler Creator to me. You know what I'm saying? He make iconic music as well. But that little beef they had, that was stupid, bro. Come on now. I feel like no one can really beef with MF Doom. You try to beef with MF Doom, you just gonna get your feelings hurt. Granted, he's not with us no more, but I feel like his music could defend him. Not the numbers per se, but the music could defend him. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Shout out to my boy again. Show him much love all the time, you know what I'm saying? And y'all stay safe. Keep chasing your dreams. Peace.
Mario the poet.